Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LeTip Live. LeTip is an organization of like-minded individuals and business owners helping each other grow each other's businesses. And today we have a LeTip Live featuring one of our members. We're always trying to network and get to know our members and spotlight them. So that's what we're doing here today. We want to remind you that we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you have a question, comment, or concern, if you put it in the comment section, we can answer it live with you today in real time. So keep the questions coming. And I want to introduce you to our guest today from LeTip of Hackensack, Peter Comet. How are you?
I'm doing good, Doug. Doing good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So Peter, let's dive right into it. How long you've been in LeTip?
I've been in LeTip. It's going on 5 years.
Nice.
Okay, not very long, but a good amount of time to really get to know, pretty much all of the LeTip members, and it's been really a pleasant, networking group to work with all the members, and it's helped me a lot too as well in the last 5 years.
Awesome. So there's one question I always ask everybody who comes on the show, and it's what does LeTip mean to you?
Well, what it means to me is that it truly is in the sense of a business network group of businesses getting together and helping one another build their business. If they're just starting out, it's a great way to network and get to the next level. And even for people with businesses that have been in their business for a lot of years, it still helps them network and still build even more from where they are, even though they've been around for a long time. You become like family, you get to know some people maybe a little bit more than others. And, it's a good thing. And as you know, we do things outside of the weekly meetings, privately. So barbecues and things of that nature. So it's really a lot of fun.
Awesome. So what each member in LeTip is the professional in that seat. What is your profession?
My profession is I work in the health industry, helping individuals that are approaching the age of 65 to go through the process of looking into Medicare. Their Part A and B, and then also supplement plan and a prescription drug plan.
Awesome. So a lot of people care about how things are done and what you actually do, but I'm really interested in why you do what you do. So what made you get into that industry, and why do you like doing that?
Well, nice. That's a good question. I know a lot of people with some health issues. It's always being talked about, and also how difficult and how confusing the health industry is. So at one point I was able to research it to be able to get into it. And I decided that it might be a good place for me to learn about the health industry, which would in turn help me help others be able to find out how they can make sure they're covered with their health and make it an easier process. Because believe me, people call me up screaming and yelling and pulling their hair out. It gets kind of confusing and very, very difficult to try to follow along with what you need to do. And you got to figure out to be in the best spot, because then you'll find yourself down the road having to change things. And so if you can get in the right spot in the beginning, it helps so much more to not have to worry about things later.
Awesome. So we'll get into the nitty gritty of what you're doing now. But is there a story or, a journey that got you from point A to point B today? Is there, a little, maybe you wanted to do X and something happened and now you're doing Y?
Well, I mean, I work for Prudential. This is how I got into the health industry with the Medicare. But it's actually my second career. I actually worked for Kodak
Nice.
For a certain amount of years,
Mhm.
17 years or so, 17 and a half years.
Nice.
And along the way, of course, at the end there, they went out of business. To think a company that large would
Mhm.
not continue after over 100 years in business. But, things change, the world changes. So they weren't able to get ahead of the curve. And next thing you know, so I had to reinvent myself. And through a friend, I wound up in the insurance industry through State Farm.
Mhm.
He has his own agency. But I was still only working for him, so I wanted to do something a little bit more on my own, and that's how I wound up with Prudential.
Awesome. Good stuff. So let's start getting into Prudential and what you do. So like what is the Medicare process?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Prudential, they're not in the health industry anymore,
Mhm.
right? So when you first join them, they'll tell you on the first day, we got out of it. Even for them, it was too much and too confusing, right? And they just
Uh-huh.
couldn't even handle it anymore. So they say, we will allow anyone to do the health industry. There's a few different avenues, self health coverage, group health coverage, or Medicare.
Mhm.
And from day one, I decided to go into the Medicare area. So in doing that, a lot of research and reading and testing and everything to find out about all of it. And what happens is when someone is reaching the age of 65, and they're now
Mhm.
about 64 and a half, maybe about 3 months is the optimal time where you really have to start doing uh, applications
Mhm.
to start to apply for your Medicare Part A and or Part B.
Mhm.
Now, Part A is just your health, is your hospital part of Medicare,
Mhm.
and the Part B is the medical side. So what the government says is you prepaid for Medicare Part A, the hospital part, throughout your life. They took money out of your check.
Mhm.
There's not going to be a premium per month to pay. So you really need to apply 3 months before your 65th birthday. You're entitled to it and you might as well have it. So if you continue to work and you're going to stay on your company's health insurance,
Mhm.
then you could defer the Part B because that's the medical side.
Mhm.
And your primary is your work health insurance. But if you ever wound up in the hospital, God forbid, you would give your primary, excuse me,
All good.
uh, primary would be your company's health insurance. And then you would say, by the way, I do have a secondary. I'm on Part A of Medicare. Okay, so now you have a decision to make. Say
Mhm.
that's one way of starting the process of knowing what to do with Medicare.
Mhm.
If you are going to retire or stop working in any capacity and you're going to lose your health insurance through work or
Mhm.
through a company that you own, maybe you're self-insured, you have to apply for the Part B. You
Okay.
could do it at the time you apply for Part A if you're going to stop working, but if you defer it to a later date, then a year or two later, without any penalty, 3 months before you know you're going to finish with your other health insurance, you apply for the B, Part B,
Mhm.
and then you get your Part B as well as your Part A. Okay. There'll be two different dates, effective dates. Sometimes it's the same effective date when you first apply, which would be the first day of the month of your birth month.
Mhm.
But now everyone doesn't realize that the government Medicare department only pays 80% of the bills on the hospital side
Mhm.
or the medical bill side. So now you got to figure out what to do, how to pay for the 20%.
Gotcha.
And that's where I come in, you know, for the supplement plans to supplement the 20% pickup of the balance of bills to supplement that 80% that's being paid up front and then pay for the have a backup secondary to pay for the 20% balance. So you don't take that money out of your pocket. There is a monthly premium,
Yeah.
but listen, bills could get way out of hand, for medical bills. God forbid you wind up in even the hospital or something like that for a few days and all kinds of tests and everything. It's sky high. So, and then separately, a third part to all this is your prescription drug plan. So I research each person's medications. I go online, find the best company and the best plan for them to have for a prescription drug plan to go and get their medications each month. And by law, you have to have a plan for the whole entire year, each year. Otherwise, the government knows that you don't have it. If you go to apply for one eventually, they'll penalize you money-wise, fiscal-wise, add it on to your premium per month, and it never falls off.
Wow.
So you definitely don't want to lapse in your coverage, especially on the prescription drug side, because you'll get a penalty when you do finally go to apply for it. And then that penalty amount doesn't drop off ever.
No wonder Prudential got out of the game. You're doing a great job explaining it, but it does sound like there's a lot of moving pieces in here.
Yeah.
So that 20% that you guys are trying to help the customer with, that's not part of Part A or Part B. That's
it's a private health insurance.
Okay.
I work probably 99% now of the time with United Healthcare, AARP United Healthcare. They're in the supplement industry to offer a plan to supplement the Medicare. And they're probably pretty much the behemoth here in the New Jersey, New York area. They have a couple of extra perks that some of the other companies don't have. Like they'll have what used to be called silver sneakers. It's called Renew It now. And if you go to a national gym in your area, that'll be paid for your membership by United Healthcare supplement plan.
Very cool. Very cool. So you kind of touched base on it, and we don't have to go too much in depth here, but this is actually kind of pertaining to me. So maybe, I'm being selfish by asking this question. So
yeah, no problem.
Long story short, I'm not the only one. I hear it all the time. Like you have, your grandparents, and like they go into something happens, they have to go to the hospital, right? Now, what I've heard, and this might be a rumor, is if something were to happen, because the house is in their name still, if there's medical bills, they can come after the house. But if the house is sold or in the will to a relative or a grandchild or something, that they can't come after those funds or the house, as long as this house has been like given to them within 5 years or something like that.
Okay, you're on a different track there a little bit.
Okay.
That's going to happen when someone starts to have to think about considering being in a nursing home. Okay. So what happens is the nursing homes are so expensive, assisted living, nursing homes, that they want to make sure you can pay, right? So it's a lot of money per month, and they will look into your financial situation, and they want to make sure they're going to get paid. So
of course,
whatever in your name, they're going to go after, right? So that's why people, sons and daughters, they might consider at some point in time, because they'll look back. I think it used to be 5 years. Now it's 7 years. Wow. They could look back 7 years. So sons and daughters these days are starting to transfer their home and other types of financial plans into their name or, under someone else's name, so that they won't be able to take all that money from them.
Gotcha. Well, so great answer. So I do want to remind you guys that we are live on Facebook and YouTube. If you put a comment in the comment section, we can answer it live. The comments are coming in. So one of our favorite people in the group, Anne Marie, is tuning in. She says there's no one better than Peter Comet. He's definitely the guru of Medicare. And she also has a question. And her question is, should people take the Medicare Advantage plan?
Good question, Anne Marie. How you doing today? There's two sides of the fence for Medicare supplement plans.
Okay.
I generally, 95% of the time, am working on the traditional, conventional side of the fence, which is Plan G. There's Plan N. They used to have Plan F, which was discontinued a couple of years ago. But so it's universal. You don't have to worry about referrals. You don't have to worry about any doctor you go to see, or your doctor primary tells you to go see this doctor, or you might have to go to this hospital. You're never going to have to worry that it's never being accepted, right, for the bills to be paid. Once you're on the other side of the fence, Advantage plan, there's networks to deal with. So you're going to always have to have that question in your mind. Okay, wait a minute, doc, if you're going to send me over here, is that doctor in my network? If I got to go to that hospital, is that in my network of my plan? Now, the couple of good things, because they always tell you the good things and they don't tell you the bad, the not so good things. The Advantage plan is a zero premium, right? So, and the prescription drug plan is included on the Advantage plans, right? So those are the couple of good things. But basically, everybody I work with, when you're not feeling well, they're not thinking of like, I don't want to start researching and find out that a doctor or a hospital is not going to take my plan. And then I got to go find some other place to go to. And if I do get stuck, then how much of this money is going to come out of my pocket?
Yeah.
So it's a little unpredictable. What I call to the other side of the fence, traditional side, which is predictable, right? You're going to pay some money up front per month, but you're never going to have to worry. And if you're on the other side of the fence, there's going to be times where you got to figure things out because, bills, like if you ever gone to the hospital for a week or two, and these doctors come in and you're not thinking of, you're trying to just feel better. And you don't know whether to ask this doctor, are you in my network before you come in? And the next thing you know, you get a bill and it's not in your network. Now you got to pay them out of your pocket.
So that seems like a miserable situation. So so why is there, if you're covered, what makes here's a better way to ask it. What makes a doctor in the network or not in the network? Like how come it doesn't cover you for all doctors?
Well, see, doctors negotiate with the health industry.
Interesting.
Right, with the different companies, and depending on how they get paid, like I'm going to get paid always well in this area, in these plans, and so I'm going to accept these plans. Over here, not so much. So I don't know if it's worth it for me to really bother to accept these plans over here, because I'm just not going to feel like I get enough for what I do.
Gotcha. So it's the doctor saying you aren't giving me enough. I don't want to work with you.
The health industry,
gotcha,
area is not given enough to have them think of wanting to participate in those plans.
Gotcha. Interesting. Is there a way to? Because I feel like that's going to be a bigger and bigger issue as we move along here. So do you think there's a solution?
Well, it's a really great question because see, in this Medicare, it's the government gets involved and they start asking questions and dealing with the doctors and the private health insurance companies of trying to do better for each individual out there. So it's always a battle. It's always a fight. They are constantly, it's an ongoing thing, because there is a monthly fee premium to pay for Part B. That A, hospital part, there's no fee, but B, there is a monthly fee. And, the government's always trying to keep that cost down, but, each year it's hard to not be able to increase it to cover their cost of everything. So they're always working with the prescription drug industry as well. And that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, the drug industry. It's just, they have so many lobbyists that they pay a lot of money to that sit in Washington, D.C. And they try to influence the politicians to be in favor of what they're trying to do. So you can see the whole industry is in a battle back and forth.
Oh yeah, just like the one of the head of the CDC guys is also head of Pfizer. So I wonder why we're pushing. But we don't. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother.
You can
podcast.
Go on. We'll be here until next Tuesday. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. I do want to remind you guys at home we are live, so please put a comment in the comment section. We can answer it live. So we've talked a lot about some of these moving parts, Part A, Part B. So if you're just starting out and you're just getting into this, or you've just turned 65, right? And what do you expect your average cost to be for Medicare?
Right. So this year, 2022, Part B of
Mhm.
Medicare is going to cost $170.10.
And that's baseline for everybody. That's a flat fee.
That's that's the first tier.
Okay.
What they do to figure out what they're going to charge you, the government, for
Yeah.
Part B, they are going to look at your income tax from 2 years ago. So we're now in 2022.
Okay.
So you're going to sign up for, say, Part B as well as the A, right?
Okay.
So they're going to look back at 2020's income tax,
Mhm.
depending how you file. There's a few columns:
Yeah.
file single, filed married jointly, or married separately.
Mm-hmm.
And in those columns are income numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So the first tier is, married jointly, just for an example, making $182,000 and less.
Mhm.
It's $170.10 per month. But there's 5 more tiers. So as you go above the next dollar
Yeah.
amount,
Mhm.
then the next tier is, instead of 170, is in the 200 and something range. And then it goes to 300, then
Wow.
400. And then someone making over $500,000 a year is over $550 a month.
So the better you did, the more you pay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. That's a
Interesting.
good way of putting it.
So don't be too successful when you're like
Right.
60.
Or you're making that kind of money, so you should be able to afford it, right?
True.
And then you have the supplement plan,
Mhm.
which male and female is a little slightly different. Female's always a little less money, but you're going to pay about $150, $160 a month.
Mhm.
So if you're at the 170 for Part B and you're about 150, for a supplement plan, you're around, $320.
Mhm.
And a prescription drug plan should average around $30 to $35. So everything that you need
Mhm.
you're going to be paying around $350 a month. And that's individual. It's not group anymore with husband and wife,
Mhm.
because husband and wife always ask me that. Is that for both of us?
Wow.
No, husband and wife have to be separate. They're on their own individual plan.
So what happens if you're a stay-at-home wife and you didn't
So
have
when there's age
taxes?
differences, okay, and there's going to I always have to ask, who's covering the health insurance?
Mhm.
So if the husband is, and the wife is going to get kicked off because he's going to go on Medicare and she's a year younger, she's got to bridge the gap for a year
Wow.
on some kind of single health coverage,
Mhm.
on the market exchange, Obamacare, whatever you want to call that,
Mhm.
for a year until she gets to, or he or she gets to
Wow.
age 65. Now, unless she talks her spouse, he or she that's carrying the health insurance, to work another year or 2 years until they catch up to the
Gotcha.
other spouse. So they can do it at the same time.
So what is the average period of enrollment? Like this whole process, how long does that take?
Yeah, so I'm an individual agent that will help everyone apply for their Medicare.
Mhm.
A lot of agents out there, individual brokers, they don't do that. They'll just say, apply for your Medicare. When you get your Medicare number, call me back up,
Mhm.
and then I'll get you your supplement. They like to do the little easier stuff, but it's so confusing on the computer to apply that I feel, for people, and I say, I'll help you with that, and
Mhm.
I'm not charging anything for that. I'm just a courtesy from my end,
Mhm.
to help someone apply for the Part A, or Part A only, or Part A and B at the same time. These websites, they change periodically. They get a little confusing.
Mhm.
So if you mess up, you'll get kicked out. Then you'll wait 24 hours to go
great.
back in. So I feel for, I said, listen, I'm going to help you
Yeah.
get to that first part done, so that the rest the rest is just on me, supplement and prescription drug plan, once we get a Medicare number. And I don't need anybody else. I can do that from home through the computer while you're on my speakerphone. Do the application, send it to you on an email, tell you how to electronically sign on your
Awesome.
computer, comes back to me, and it's all done.
Awesome. So I know Peter, and he's a great guy, and that's obvious. So the fact that he takes the time to do this with you, I would say, is what separates you from anybody else. Is there any other tips or tricks or anything that you guys do that's different from any other insurance company or
Uh,
Medicare company?
well, I mean, whoever you work with, you should be able to call them back up at any time down the road to ask any questions. So I really stress, that don't ever hesitate. You get something in the mail, and you have a question, just call me up. Everybody has my cell number. Ask me any question. There probably hasn't been a scenario that I haven't been through. And I can answer that question for you so that you can find out right away and you don't have to worry about, trying to call somebody and they never pick up.
Awesome. So we did cover a lot. Like I said, if you guys have a question, put it in the comments section. We answer it live. But we're always trying to provide value for our members and our viewers. So we did cover a lot, and I doubt there is even much more to cover. But is there a tip or a trick or something that people out there should be looking for or looking into as of now?
I got a couple more things in my head that I'd like to mention.
Yeah.
It's not only just someone getting right before the age of turning 65, a few months before. I've worked with plenty of individuals that worked with someone before, and now there may be 70, 75, 80. I've even worked with an individual that was 90 years old, and they just never were happy with their plan. So I'll review what they're on. And if they're good where they are, I'm going to tell them that. But if there's a better spot, I'm going to let them know to consider moving over to another spot that would be a lot better for them. So
Awesome.
it's also people above 65 that I could work with.
Awesome. Well, and that covers my next question is if people were looking to give you a tip or throw business at you, we're pretty much looking at anyone in the 60-year-old range.
Right. I mean, usually you're with people you're, kind of your same age and stuff. So my business is built on referrals. So if you do know other people or family members in that 65, turning 65 bracket soon, to just refer me, I'd be glad to help them and do the best I can.
Awesome. Great stuff. Anything else you'd like to add on the Prudential side of things, on the Medicare side of things before we move on?
No, I mean, I do all the Prudential products as well, life insurance, retirement money, some auto and homeowners. So I still do all of that work, but Doug, one day it's going to get close to where the Medicare, dealing with the baby boomers, that's, people born from 1944 to 1964, that it's going to override the business I'm doing with Prudential, those other products. And sometimes it gets kind of hectic. I'm doing 5 different products at one time, that no matter what, I'll always do Medicare, even if the other Prudential product stuff drops off.
Nice. Good stuff. So Medicare out of the way, let's get to know Peter as a person. You got any hobbies, anything you like to do besides work? What else are you up to?
Well, I mean, I haven't been to the gym in 2 years. I can't wait for this Omicron to peak and get on the other side so I could get back to the gym myself. I haven't played golf in quite a while. I like to go to car shows in the summer. Nice. Things like that. So I like to work out in my yard, in the garden and stuff with in the spring. Gets to be a little much work with when the snow comes, they're still shoveling and using the snow blower and the leaves in the fall. But when I can get those flowers planted and see how they bloom, through the spring and summer is always, something I enjoy.
Great stuff. So last chance for everybody at home. If you have a question, comment, or concern, please put it in the comment section. We'll answer it live. Peter, something we've been adding to our live streams is the speed round. Are you ready for the speed round?
And what's that?
So we're going to rapid fire, ask you some questions. They're easy, fun ones. And it's just a little fun little speed round, if you will.
All right.
Are you ready for the speed round?
I hope so.
All right, here we go. Speed round. You even got the ticker. You hear the ticker? So, favorite food?
Favorite food is pasta.
Awesome. Favorite dessert?
Chocolate pudding pie with whipped cream.
Ooh, nice, nice. Favorite movie?
My cousin Vinny.
Nice, nice. That's a good one. I like that one.
I can't watch that one enough.
Favorite TV show?
In the last couple of years, Last Man Standing.
Nice. I like that one. Very good. Cool.
He shows life. You know, he compares like everyday life situations in his show.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it.
They're making a Disney Plus is making a Tim Allen short 5-episode series of him being the Santa Claus again.
Yes, I just saw that the other day.
So there you go there. What else we got? We went to hobbies. You like, the car stuff and the car shows, but any other hobbies that you want to talk about?
No, it's just like I said, how much can you do when you're still working and doing all these other things? But I used to play golf every week. And then one day when the group wasn't together anymore and you kind of stop and then try to get back into it, it's tough. So I'd love to see about at least once a week playing if I can get back to doing that. And like I said, these car shows, they kind of went away too during the pandemic. They're starting to happen again. So and being that it's outside, it's a little bit more helpful that, you don't have to worry too much.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to put together a LeTip golf outing then.
Yeah,
definitely. Yes. Best concert and first concert.
My first concert was, God, I'm going to date myself here. A friend of mine, my best friend, his brother came home one day, older than us, and he had tickets, and he said, I don't want to go. It was at William Patterson College. Was the Grateful Dead.
Wow, nice.
So
very nice.
I'm getting up there in age. So we took the tickets, and we went, and years later, of course, we found out what they were all about. And what was the other question? The best
concert.
Best concert. Let's see. The best concert was in college. I was in school up in Vermont, Burlington, Vermont. And my junior year, it was probably two. I'll name two.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was just starting out. Nobody even knew who he was, but being from New Jersey, my college buddies, some of them from New Jersey, we went down to the middle of Burlington to the auditorium and saw Bruce Springsteen. Nice. And that was his first country tour, nationwide tour, I should say. So he was great, and the place wasn't even packed. It was half empty. So we were right up by the front stage. And at our campus, they had Loggins and Messina.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You made it through alive, the speed round.
Thank you, Doug. You got a really nice studio here. Very nice place.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Any questions, comments, concerns you have?
No, I'm trying to work towards a little bit more of marketing myself and my Medicare business a little bit more. LeTip has helped me greatly in the beginning. This is something else I'd like to get a little bit more into, the social media podcast and getting things out there on the different social media platforms. And maybe some other ways of advertising. And I don't have to look any further than LeTip. Yeah. There's a couple of other people that have ways that I could do that. So I'm going to start doing a little bit more of that this year, hopefully. And, hopefully get my business name out there and see if I could do a little bit better with getting everybody to know who I am.
Absolutely. I mean, you are a natural here. Maybe we get you going on a podcast, your own podcast.
Okay.
But you definitely did great. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
You're welcome. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you. And we would love you guys to share this video with your friends and family so they can learn more about Peter. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please shoot us a DM. Or if you'd like to learn more about a LeTip and you want to become a member, definitely shoot us a DM. But that kind of wraps it us today. And thank you again, Peter, for stopping by.
You're welcome, Doug. You're welcome. Looking forward to maybe doing another one down the road.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.